And I wanted to ask you about publicly funded elections. It seems that these would go a long way towards reducing undue corporate influence on government policy and restoring the average voter's belief that their vote really does give them an equal say. And I think it's an issue that the Democrats could own. And I wonder if this is something you would support and if you think there's any possible chance of this happening in my lifetime.
Well, I strongly support public financing, and I know Dick does too. He's going to have some things to say about it, because when we were having, as you'll recall, the major debates around lobbying reform, one of the things that Dick, I think, properly pointed out was that you can change the rules on lobbying here in Washington, but if we're still getting financed primarily from individual contributions, that those with the most money are still going to have the most influence. And you know, typically when we start getting into these debates around public financing, which by the way could take a variety of forms, we've got states already that at the state level have instituted them, and they're working very well. Arizona, Massachusetts basically they set up a system where a candidate's got to get a certain number of petition signatures. They've got to gather up a certain number of small contributions to show that they're actually viable and they've got some support, and then there's a pool of money that they can access. And those laws have been held to be constitutional. One of the problems in this whole area is First Amendment as interpreted by the Supreme Court and not being too restrictive in terms of how campaigns are financed. But you could also, for example, set up free airtime. Most of the money for campaigns goes directly to TV stations. In Chicago, just to give you an example, it costs $500,000 a week, $500,000 a week to advertise for a campaign. It costs another $500,000 for the other media markets around the state. So if you want to advertise in a big statewide race like a U.S. Senate race, it costs you $1 million statewide per week, which is just astonishing. So, so if you just said that candidates who qualify, have met a certain threshold, got a certain amount of free TV time, that would make a huge difference. But bottom line is that the reason we haven't seen it is because whenever it's been brought up, the talk has been, well, this is welfare for politicians. And what folks don't understand is you're paying for the lack of public financing, because all those pork projects you read about and all the shenanigans that take place around here, you would save significantly as a taxpayer by paying what would probably end up being $5 per person per year to finance every federal campaign. So